This is Amateur Logic, episode 122 for October 15th, 2018. This episode of Amateur Logic is brought to you by MFJ, the world leaders in ham radio accessories at mfjenterprises.com. And by ICOM. See how you can get the most out of this contest season with ICOM. Good evening. Welcome to Amateur Logic, episode 122. I'm George.
I'm Tommy.
I'm Jim.
I'm Emile.
And boy, it's our 13th anniversary celebration here on Amateur Logic. 13 years. We're getting the band back together tonight. We've got our original lead vocalist and guitar player here. It's Jim. Jim, thanks for being here with us tonight.
Welcome back, Jim.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, have you got a glass there, Emile?
Got it.
There you go. All right.
Let's see, buddy.
Clink, clink.
Clink, clink.
Long distance. If Peter was here, we'd have to turn it upside down.
I think we did. Maybe not all the way. No.
Oh, I can't reach it.
I can.
What are we doing?
Are you sure?
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah, would you like a little more?
Yeah, why not?
Are we going to make a cantata out of that when we get done?
I don't know, man.
It'll be hard.
Yeah. So
See.
you'll have to move it over in front of me. Yeah.
Oh, there it
Emile's
is.
Not covering it. As you can see, Welch's.
The finest.
Only the best.
And we played that episode tonight, pre-show. That's not Welch's there.
Oh, okay.
I told Emile I wish I was drinking with him tonight.
Yeah. 13 years. It's hard to believe that. Everyone over in the chat room, by the way, is taking a drink when we mentioned 13.
I hope you guys aren't driving
Yeah.
because this is 13.
Yeah, it is.
Stop that.
It's hard to believe it's been 13.
It really is.
Yeah, I was thinking about that on the way over here, man. I swear, it seems like it was yesterday. We were standing out at that Wi-Fi site out there.
Yeah.
Went by fast, no doubt.
Yeah.
And that seemed like that was a really long show back when we were doing it. I don't think that was only like 22 minutes.
Yeah.
I know.
Probably took like hours to render that out back on the
Oh, yeah.
computers back then.
It did.
You know, you're running Windows XP, so
Yeah.
And using consumer video cameras with DV tapes. Remember those?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Many DVs.
Firewire to hook it up to your computer.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
It was real time, wasn't it? It was real time transfer too, wasn't it? For whatever you shot.
I think it was,
it
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it did take a lot longer to do things. We've pretty much replaced all the gear we're using since then, except that microphone you got on there, Jim. That
That's
little
right.
lavalier like
Yeah.
this one. That's one of the originals.
It's one of the originals.
Yeah.
I've still got my original one. I still use it.
Oh, yeah. I've got
They're
at
actually
least one or two more like that.
pretty
yeah.
good mics, aren't
Oh,
they?
yeah.
Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I did change the battery in it, though.
Yeah. Everything else has probably been replaced 2-3 times over.
Yeah.
The cameras.
Yeah, I know I've been through myself at least 3 cameras since we
Yeah.
started.
Oh, yeah.
Technology, man. Wow.
And, well, no, it was 4 cameras probably. I've still got 3 that I've used in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 of them still use.
Yeah.
A couple of generations of connectivity, right? HD, 16:9, all
That's
kind of
right.
changes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we made the jump to HD, that was huge.
And back in the early
Yeah.
days when we had to do the web hosting over dial-up, man, It was slow.
I saw a modem when I came into George's tonight, sitting over there, and I was like, "What is this modem doing?" But that was
Have
something.
some way to upload the video.
Yeah, Tommy said, well, "How do you connect to the internet?" So it's like time warp.
Oh, it really is. And I know everyone is tired of looking at this radio package here on the desk, the IC7300. And
Told him I could help him with that.
yeah, he did, but I asked him, did he register? And he said no. And I said, I'm sorry. The entry's cut off on Thursday. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's going to be pretty happy. But,
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody a little bit later in the show tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
You quit
Really
teasing,
nice rig.
Quit teasing me with this headset right here. I keep looking at.
Yeah. I would have thought it blended right in and you wouldn't even notice it was there.
I'm probably going to buy one of these next
I
summer
like
for the
it.
Hamfest. Yeah, I do too.
I got it on the air one night and everybody told me it sounded great.
Yeah.
And as far as what I was hearing on the headset there, real good audio.
I've got some of Bob's mics at home just that I use for personal use and ham use, and man, I love them. I don't say that just because, he's
Because
Bob.
it's Bob, yeah.
I really do.
They're good.
It really is some good stuff.
I was using a Shure for a good while until George kind of introduced me to the PR22. And,
PR22,
I haven't even
man.
got that Shure back out of the drawer.
Oh, yeah.
No, me neither. I've
Yeah.
got a bunch of Shures because,
They're
from
industry
music,
standard,
yeah.
Yeah.
And PA systems and stuff, but yeah, mine hadn't been out of the box in years. and years.
Yeah, I ditto that.
Emile, let me ask you a question. You are listening to the audio there. Are we about level? Everybody's.
Yeah, it sounds good to me over here. And speaking of the whole mic thing, I still have the PR781. Even when I upgraded my ICOM from the 746 to the 9100, that PR781 is perfect match for that rig.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, Jim,
Absolutely.
what have you been up to? Now, I'm not going to talk about that project you're working on just yet. We're going to hold that out because Jim has been doing something real cool here. But just in general, let's see, it's probably been 2-3 years anyway since you've been on.
Yeah. Lots of things, but I kind of got off heavy into some software there for a while, and but you can only do so much programming,
Yeah.
before you blow a 50 amp fuse or something.
Yeah.
You just will warp your brain if you just steadily proceed down that road. So I don't know, I was working on something. I'm trying to remember now what that was. Oh yeah, it was my Time Nuts gig. I'm a part of this mailing list that goes by the name of Time Nuts, and probably a lot of ham people have heard of it. In fact, I know a lot of ham people have heard of it because there are a lot of ham people on that on that mailing list. But suffice it to say, for the show's purposes, it's just a bunch of guys that really get into doing some precise time measurement.
And we're talking precise, too.
Yeah,
aren't
we really are, like down in the pico, nano, femento seconds even. But that's how it all started, and I needed to amplify a signal coming out of an oscillator.
Mm-hmm.
And, at most of those oscillators in that time and stuff run at 10 megahertz. And 10 megahertz is not that high in frequency, but it's high enough in frequency that I couldn't just whip together a little one transistor amplifier and make it work. And I didn't have an op amp that would slew that fast. So that was the real impetus right there. And I said, buddy, I'm so tired of not knowing the low-level fundamentals of discrete components. I'm going to buckle down and learn it. And so that started about the last 2 or 3 years worth of journey. And where it led to was in the audio. And I I don't know how long, for the last maybe year, I've been building some audio amps, discrete component audio amps, just transistors, resistors, capacitors. And it's just really been fun. Super fun.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at some of that here in just a little bit. And I've got to say, man, Jim doesn't just go into anything halfway, Tommy.
No,
He takes it to the hilt.
If you're going to do something, you got to go all in.
You got to get enthusiastic about it.
Go big or go home.
You got to get enthused, and you got to just get enthused about it.
That's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I haven't seen it
Yeah.
yet.
We'll definitely look at it.
Yep. Trust me, it's going to be cool. Y'all want to hang around for that. Emile, what's been going on down south there?
Well, besides the weather getting fallish for a change, it's awesome down here. It's been in the 70s, and the other day it was in the 60s, which is unusual. But still going up and down. I'm sure you guys are seeing the same thing.
Yep.
But I've been toying around with some making Internet of Things great again by adding my flavor up to it of the cheap old Internet of Things, right? So that's what we'll be talking about on my end today.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And this was pretty much cost-free, huh? Well, not quite, but close.
Well, yeah, you guys know me by now. There's some catches in there, but I try to focus on the topic at hand. And so it's involving the Raspberry Pi, so there's the cheap right there.
There you go.
Depending on what's in your junk box, Emile?
That's right. That's
as to whether
exactly
it's free or not, yeah.
So, Tommy, what have you been up to?
Well, I had a little Raspberry Pi this month also.
You did?
Yeah, I did. So I dug out one of the toys I bought at Dayton, not this year, but actually the year before. It's been sitting there, and I've used it, but I had a purpose for it, so I went ahead and dug that out, and I'll show you about that shortly.
Cool.
Okay. Well, I've been, what have I been doing? I've been doing a little Arduino and a little...
Oh, cool.
Not heavy-duty Arduino now, probably the simplest program I've ever written on an Arduino. And it's pretty much, it could be down on the level of Hello World, that simple.
Oh.
Okay.
But
Sounds riveting.
it's part of a larger project that I'm working on, but just like you were saying, Jim, you got that one little hurdle that you got to get over.
That's right.
And so you say, I'm just going to have to dig on into it. I dug on into to that project I was working on there.
It can lead down a long rabbit hole in some cases.
Now you got me intrigued. If it's that simple of a program and it's was a hurdle, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that's about.
I seem to remember some Hello Worlds on this one, maybe from Jimmy even, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
There's been more than one Hello World and Blinky Light program on here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Tommy, why don't we get on into your segment here?
Okay.
Do you need to set it up, or is it already preset?
It's pretty well set up. Let's just go for it.
Okay.
This time I'm going to do a little project I've been putting off a little while. I don't know why, I just haven't done it. A couple of years ago at Dayton at the Hamfest, at Hamvention, I bought this SDR Pi RSP2. It's really nice. I've been using it on my Mac and on my Windows PC, but when I originally bought it, I intended on trying to hook it up to a Raspberry Pi and having it in my little corner computer. I normally have a Pi running on where I can use it anytime I want to and not tie up my computer, or do other things with it. So anyway, I'm going to try to get that going. I noticed since I bought it that the good people at SDR Pi put together a Raspberry Pi image, so it should take all the hard work out of it. I'm going to try going that route this time. We're going to download it, install it, and see how it works. First of all, we've got to get our Raspberry Pi going. So I bought a Raspberry Pi 3. Bought a Pi 3 at the same Hamfest, I believe. And I've got a little external speaker just for testing. It's kind of a little cheapy, but it'll do to make sure we get it going, and I'll hook it up to a better set of speakers. And then comes the big part. The SDR software is very CPU intensive, So we need a little extra cooling on our Raspberry Pi. So I bought this case off of Amazon. You can see it right here. And it comes with the case, a cooling fan, and heat sinks, everything we need, power supply and everything to get it going. So let's go ahead and put this together first, and then we'll jump over to the computer and download the software and get that configured. Okay, it doesn't quite fit. It looks like this piece right here is going to be in the way of these 4 header pins. So we're going to have to do something about that. Okay, so I ran into a little problem, as you could tell. My case apparently must have been designed for a Raspberry Pi 2, where the paperwork said it was for a 3. So anyway, I had to take it out and trim some of the pieces that didn't fit right and get a little bit creative with it. But it's here and it's all together. So let's see. So the top should go on now, and the fan needs to go on. Except it needs to go this way. Nope. Needs to go this way. So we have access to this. Okay, after hooking up the power supply, I hooked up the pins wrong on it, so I got those corrected. When I hit the button, I do see the fan come on. The fan is so quiet, I went ahead and put it on the higher speed, which is the 5-volt pins. And I can tell there's a little bit faster rotation on the fan, so we're going to run with that. Okay, now that we've got our Raspberry Pi in the case and we've tested the fan, I've got it set over here, partially plugged up to run off my monitor here, and I'll hook the speaker up to it when we get finished. Let's get our software. The good people at software, SDR Pi created the image for us. I've already downloaded it. But you can go to SDRplay.com, downloads, software and documentation, choose Raspberry Pi, and get this image right here. Now, I've already done it. It comes in a 7Z file, which is 7-zip. So you're going to need to go, if you don't have something for that, just find the 7-zip site, 7zip.org, and download it and install it. It's free and it's a nice program. Be sure to get the one for your operating system. I've already downloaded it, and I've got the image unzipped right here just for the purpose of saving some time. I've got Win32 disk imager already on my computer, and I've got my little micro SD card I'm going to use in my Raspberry Pi already in my card reader here. So let's go ahead and burn the image to that. We'll go browse it. I've got it sitting on my desktop, so let's go desktop, SDR Play, and my device, and let's go ahead and write it. Okay, so this will run through. It'll take a few minutes. Be careful when you choose your drive letter not to overwrite one of your drives that you have your valuable data on. Now that we've got the image on the SD card, I put it into the Raspberry Pi, and I've got it hooked up here. It should come up on this monitor, but I'm also recording it here so I can show it to you, so don't pay attention to the extra hardware. But anyway, let's go ahead and go through the setup process. Comes up with SDR Play, it's all ready. But first thing we're really going to need to do is we need to go through and make sure that we're on the network. I want to be on the Wi-Fi so we can see. So I went ahead and I plugged up my keyboard to the Raspberry Pi before I booted it. Now let's go through the Wi-Fi setup. And I will pick my own Wi-Fi. Let's see if it works. It should be as easy as doing easy play. It works much better when we connect our SDR play. So I've got my HF antenna hooked up here. I'm going to go ahead and hook this up to antenna 1 on the SDR play. Got a USB cable here to hook it up to the Pi, so I'll hook that up. And then we'll plug this up to the Raspberry Pi. And it is connected. We should be able to go through here and pick Cubic SDR. That's the software that's on here for SDR stuff. And you see we're just using 26% already. We haven't really started decoding anything yet. So, and there's our SDR play. So let's go ahead and start. Blue. Point. There we go. 102.9. That's the station that's fairly close. It's working pretty good. It's on FM, not FM stereo, so let's try stereo. They're running at 98% right there, but I don't really plan on listening to that anyways. So let's try some HF. We'll go lower sideband and we'll go down to drop that to 7300. Gotta find one a little stronger for right now.
My name is Dave, short for David. Dave, short for David. Dave, short for David.
Well, it looks to me like it's working. Well, I would call that a success. It's pretty intensive on the CPU, like I say, 95%, but it's working. And it doesn't sound really good decoding 2 streams of audio for stereo, which I don't intend to listen to that on it anyway. But it does sound good on lower sideband, so I'll be using it for some HF and some things like that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to the SDR Play guys for putting the image together. It really was painless. I downloaded it, booted up, got myself on the Wi-Fi, which is not even required, and plugged in my SDR Play and ran the program, and it just worked as you saw. So thanks to those guys for doing all the hard work. And 73, we will see you next time.
Nice.
Well, it was really easy, man. I thought I was going to have to do some fiddling with it. I didn't try this at all before I did my segment. So
I was surprised.
It was just real. Real, I didn't plug it in.
Works much better.
But yeah, it works a lot better when you plug it up. But the Raspberry Pi did really well, except for the 2 channels of stereo. It had a little bit of trouble decoding too.
Yeah, it's a lot of bandwidth.
Yeah, but for a single channel audio, for sideband or whatever, it worked great.
Yeah, it sounded great.
Yeah, it sounded like it had a little difficulty with that FM broadcast signal, but that's probably trying to decode 75 kilohertz of,
or more
spectrum there all at once.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah, I've been wanting to play with one of those little SDR plays.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Look
I like
it.
it.
Really interesting boxes.
I've used it a fair amount. I just haven't hooked it up to the Pi, which is what I really intended on doing when I got it.
It's cool how you can put them on the network too.
So, what do you think about the sensitivity of it as compared to an HF radio?
It's pretty good. I really should probably try to do some type of measurement against my 7100 or something.
It's a good idea.
Point.
Yeah.
But I can hear very, very well with it. So I haven't noticed any problems.
Yeah.
Cool.
Emile, have you done any SDR stuff much?
Yeah, in fact, I have the I don't have the SDR Play. I've kind of been wanting to get one of those, but I have the cheaper, of course, USB dongles. But I do have a 32-bit laptop with a little bit more oomph. I was thinking too, Tommy, there's a way in the cubic SDR to just change the sample rates, and it'll lower the CPU usage a little bit and decode.
Right.
Ah.
Yeah, I did drop it down to one.
Okay.
But anyway, I need to play with it a little bit more. But I don't really plan on listening to stereo with it anyway.
Right.
I'll just turn the radio on and listen for that.
That's awesome that it works on a Pi, though. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They did a great job on the image.
Yeah.
Now you got a use for that Raspberry Pi.
There you go.
So, Jim, you haven't been doing much radio lately. You were telling us before the show that you're starting to get enthused about it again.
Yeah, and it's kind of just a follow-on. I've really been getting interested in SDR lately, and watching some things on building some oscillators, and the thing I'm really interested in right now, I just ordered an SI5351A, I think it is, a little oscillator. I think I'm going to build a up converter for the little SDR dongle I've got. So convert the ham bands up to like 100 megahertz or 120 megahertz, get over the FM band, and see. I've been looking at, I don't know why, I just got interested in mixers and the differences between single balance mixers and double balance mixers, and playing with a transistor. I think I can build my own discrete balanced mixer, a pretty decent one anyway. I don't know. It'll be something fun to experiment with and see.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Good, definitely.
And you'll start chasing down that trail.
Yeah.
No telling where you'll end up.
No telling where. Some of
Keep
those
us posted on your progress.
Yeah, some of those homebrew guys, SDR homebrew guys, man, they are super serious. There's some super serious guys out there, and they have built some really quality stuff.
Oh, yeah.
If you go out there, SDR.org, you guys ever go over there?
It's been a while.
Man, you can listen. You know, they have their stuff online just like the SDR plays, and of course you can listen to radios all around the world.
Yeah, I've been to a number of the online SDR sites, and those guys, I don't know what kind of hardware they're using, but you know, they're covering a lot of bandwidth, and they got a lot of people listening.
Yeah, yeah.
All to different frequencies.
That's right. Some of those guys, if you go to their site, they have pictures of, and a lot of it is homebrew stuff.
John noticed your glass is empty, Jim, so anytime...
Well, how can that be?
John is very observant.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's a group I talk to in HF frequently. Some nights, if one guy can't hear everybody in the QSO, maybe there's one guy that can't hear, they'll hop over. We've been using an SDR over in Utah. A good bit. It seems to be able to hear everybody fine. And there's not that much delay, man. I mean, it's
pretty close.
It's pretty close.
Pretty tight.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a break for just a second, get a message from ICOM, and we're going to be right back with more. Heard it, worked it, logged it. It's time to get the transceiver that's best suited for your lifestyle. ICOM offers a variety of high-performance and innovative products. See how you can make the most out of contest season with these transceivers. The competitive edge you've been looking for, raise the bar and hear what others cannot with this flagship HF 50 MHz transceiver, the IC7851. Reciprocal mixing dynamic range, crystal clear local oscillator design, spectrum scope, dual receivers, and digital voice recorder. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants, and just in time for contesting season. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The new ICOM IC7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of a SDR transceiver. RF direct sampling, 110 RMDR, independent dual receiver, dual digicell, IC 7300 is changing the way entry-level HF is designed. This high-performance innovative HF transceiver with a compact design will far exceed your expectations. RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and SD memory card slot. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on all the great ICOM radios. And thanks ICOM for sponsoring AmateurLogic.TV for, I don't know how many years now, but a number of years.
I'm not sure how many it is, but I appreciate every single one of them.
You know, we were talking about SDR stuff right before we went on the break, and this little rig right here, that's one of the best SDR rigs going, in my opinion.
And for the price, it's a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking before the show, but I'm seriously considering purchasing one of these for myself. I think they're really
You won't be
nice.
disappointed with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely won't. There's a lot of people that has purchased those in the last couple of years, and everybody pretty much has been very happy with them, especially at that price, man.
Yeah. It's hard to beat.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat.
Well, Jim, I told you we were going to talk about what you've been up to, but actually, I was wrong. We're going to talk about the Internet of cheap old things.
Cool beat.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So, why not? This is going to be a Pi-rific episode, I take it. But why not make these Internet of Things, Pis, work for us for a change, right? So I put together a little segment on how to do that, and it's kind of a system of things. It's also a high level look at how you can make them work, or how at least I make them work for me. So the Internet of cheap old things. Welcome to the Internet of cheap things, or a combination of Pi, OS, and software and the internet. It can be a do-it-yourself or DIY project to make these Pis work for you. Now, this is a complicated drawing here. I'm not going to go over it in detail, but you can use it for reference to maybe do your own thing with the equipment that you have. But just know that there is a network behind this whole presentation that allows these things to work together. It's Ethernet networking and TCP/IP protocol. The first Pi in my Internet of cheap things is the Pi clock, which we covered in an earlier episode. It's got some custom images here, and also I was pulling some weather data, which the author has updated because there's been some changes in Weather Underground. So take a look at his project again. One of the big things here I'll mention, it kind of follows through all of these items, is that these Pis are talking to each other using SSH encrypted communications with key-based secure logins. That's why the scripts are functioning. There's lots more information on Raspberry's site, and of course others, that'll show you how to do that, and as well as the scripts here. I'm actually simply taking screenshots of the GUI and then putting that into copy, or SCP, secure copy, to my central web server, which will be another Pi we'll discover here. Another of the devices is the PiCam, with the no IR camera installed and set up and activated in the Pi's OS. It's using SSH key automated secure logins between the Pi with the camera and the web server Pi, and that's accomplished through crontab, running a script that I wrote. That's basically taking a snapshot using the snapshot software that comes with the Pi. It's all built in. It's a Raspberry still. So that script is running on a scheduled time, or a cron job as they call it, which also gets rid of any files that are older than a certain time or day, so that it doesn't fill up. Another Pi camera is looking at the workbench here. A little bit on an angle at the moment. You'll see why. It's doing the same thing. It's copying images on a schedule and then getting rid of other images over time. The main or core of this is also my Pi that's running the Apache web server, and it's also running the Exaster APRS iGate, as well as my script that I wrote a while back that looks for the NWS spotter activation alert. These Pis are pretty hardy. They can run multiple systems. They're multitasking, and all on a schedule. The Pis that I have here now have been running for months without fail. The only thing that kills them over is power outages. If you got things set up right for startup, they'll come right back on without troubles. This particular Pi is running the Apache web server, the Exaster APRS, and my NWS alert scripts that goes to look for spotter activation information, and then emails me stuff. But the biggest part about this one is that it's available over the internet, so that I can get to it remotely from my phone or from another computer. I am using self-signed certificates, being the cheap nature of them, and there's a lot of documentation on how to do that directly from Raspberry Pi, as well as the passwordless copying of information. Those other Pis are basically copying their files to here, which is the web server, so that we can see them on the website, and you'll see that in a bit. This Pi also, the way Exaster works, the APRS system is over TCP/IP to an Ubuntu computer I have in the shack that's hooked to my radios via USB, both the 9100 and the FT991. That is how it is sending information and repeating information about local APRS objects in the area. So lots of stuff there, connectivity to the radio. This Pi is doing a bunch of stuff, and it's amazing that they can and do it reliably. And here is the Pi clock still in operation. Here is one of my Pi cams in operation, the no IR version of the camera there you see inside the Pi. And here's another of the Pi cams just hanging out. That one with the regular edition of the Pi cam in there, not the no IR edition. And finally, here is the Raspberry Pi that is running the Apache web server, Exaster APRS software, and the NWS alert script. Thanks to the huge help from the folks at Linux and the Ham Shack, I was able to set up my Ubuntu Shack computer with the CQR log software, the WSJTX, and many others, one of which is Direwolf, which is the piece that allows me to record or use both the APRS packet and regular packet for terminal software, so that I can switch in between things like, let's say, WinLink from a Windows computer, and also Exaster running on a Pi, all over TCP/IP, controlling and connecting up to both radios as needed, either the ICOM 9100 or Asus FT991 that I have. So big shout out to the guys at Linux in the Ham Shack podcast. Check them out. There's lots of great information about their setups and how to get to the repositories, etc. To have Linux in the Ham Shack. So good stuff over there with these guys. But that is the Shack computer that I use to run the sound card packet interface for both my APRS iGate and the Windows PCs with terminal. So how do I manage this website? The W3 schools or W3 standards, I basically took one of their templates. I think it was the Coming Soon template here, as you can see at the bottom right, and did a website from there and just customized it a little bit to make it what I want. The reason I chose that is because it shows up well on just standard browsers on a PC, the tablets, and mobiles. It's very, you can squish it and it still looks right. They just did those templates right, so I followed their examples, and in fact I used them and then customized it, which is all free. I edit that via WinSCP from one of my Windows computers in the house. I use Notepad++, and it just pipes it right into that program so that I can edit it and then send it back using WinSCP, which is also a secure protocol, straight to the Pi, which is running that Apache web server. I also manage the Pis themselves, since I have a growing number of Pis in the internet of cheap things, using a couple of softwares that I'll mention. Putty allows the command line, SSH command line, straight to the Pis to run commands or see what's going on. And then, of course, WinSCP is sending files back and forth that I want to do from my central, from whatever PC I'm on. There's also VNC, which is built into the Pis, a secure version of VNC that lets you take over the GUI of the Pi and do stuff from its GUI instead of just the command line. So there's a host of other software here running on my network just because of what I am into. Things like Acrylic, looking at Wi-Fi, what's going on around me, and Passler, which is a network monitoring tool to show me if something's offline, dropped, or whatever. Tenable, Nessus Home, which is looking for vulnerabilities and things on the network all the time, and Splunk. All of these companies have free editions of their software. So that's why I use them in the internet of cheap things.
Wow, Emile.
Good job.
I'm curious, how many Pis do you actually have in your Pi farm there now? Full time.
My Pi farm. It's yeah.
8.
It's up. It's 5.
5
at the moment. Yeah, and there's probably more coming. You know, every time I get something like you did with the SDR, I dedicate it to that now.
Yeah.
So
and you
wind
can
up with this network of things, right?
Yeah, and you can with a Pi because they're cheap.
That's right.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I love Ubuntu.
So are you working on a super cheap computer?
You know, I haven't built any clusters yet, but I see people out there doing their own little multi node clusters with the Pis. I'm not sure I'm going to go that route.
I thought about doing that, but if I had something that was actually useful to do with it, I mean, I'd probably try it, but I don't want to do it just for the exercise.
I might have to reinvigorate my days of what was it, the SETI project? You remember when we used to analyze the
run the Beowulf cluster of Pis and put the searching SETI from home stuff on it.
Yeah,
looking for ET. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if you get about 60 of them going, you might equal half of your laptop.
Yeah, Noel. Yeah. Oh, Linux in the Ham Shack sounds cool though. I gotta go back and check those guys out again.
Well, look, Tommy did an interview, I think, right, Tommy, with those guys in what Hamfest was that?
It's Dayton not this past year, but the year before. Same year I bought the SDR Play.
Well, that turned me on to them, and I found the stash of their videos, and I showed up at one of their Monday audio podcasts that they always have. Yeah. That's a great group. Yeah. I mean, they're just all out sharing, you know, and they give you the information. It's right there, and it's an amazing distribution or set of repositories, Jimmy, that they have on for Ubuntu.
Yes, absolutely. Loving Ubuntu. Loving Pis.
Yeah. Well, Tommy, last month we were showing some photos from, some from Tokyo Ham Fair that Peter and John took, and some you and I took in Huntsville. And there was one guy on there that I failed to get his call sign, and I didn't remember his name. I did remember talking to him, but I could not remember. I didn't have the details. But anyway, that's Kenny, WN8Y. And anyway, it's good to meet you there, Kenny. I've actually chatted with him since then on email. Yeah, we both recognized him, but just couldn't put a name and call sign to the face.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, sorry about that.
That doesn't ever happen to me.
No. Who?
If it does, you don't remember it.
Well, Jim, you've got, I can't tell what it is. All I can see is this, and it's behind Emile's. So nobody's really seeing what we're talking about here. This is your latest beauty here, huh?
Well, it is. It's one of them.
That's one of them. Just one of them.
This is not my design. Just want to give credit where credit's due. So I'm not the first guy that ever came up with this, but it is a hybrid. This is a NE5532.
Good chip.
Yeah. Nice op amp designed for audio back in the, I don't know. I'm not even going to say because I'll be wrong.
A lot of broadcast gear.
A lot of broadcast gear. A lot of professional audio gear uses the NE5532 op amp. Even though it's really old, it's still, that's how far ahead of its time it's one. But yeah, so these are the inputs. This is a 2-channel amp, and this is brass nails on wood, and we'll talk more about that in a little second when I show you some pictures. But you can see everything is it's just a different construction method that works really well. It's so much better than breadboards when it comes to well, building something.
It almost is reminiscent of N5 RMZ design.
Yeah.
Well, it's not on the cardboard.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
on wood.
Yeah. So yeah, it turns out amplifiers are really interesting, audio amplifiers, and this is a kind of a little power amp back here. And of course these are the output transistors, and let's see if we can turn those. These just happen to be some that I had in my junk box. These are
really?
Yeah, tip 31. These are old, like these probably been in my junk box for years. But that's like a tip 31A and tip 32C, so it's complementary NPN, PNP, and you know, for each channel. And this is probably the most modern transistor on here. In the voltage amplification stage, this BD139 and BD140.
So are these volume controls, or what are these pots here?
These adjust the quiescent current for the amp. So, you know, in a this is a Class AB amplifier, so push-pull. So the great thing about a Class AB amp is, unlike a Class A amp, you're not consuming power all the time. You're only consuming power when you're putting a signal in. But the bad thing about a Class AB amp is what they call the dead zone, or crossover distortion, when you're switching from the push of the NPN to the pull of the PNP. When your signal crosses back through the 0 mark and turns off one transistor and turns on the other, there's this moment of time, however short, that will cause distortion of the signal if you don't keep those transistors turned on just a little bit. And that's what the quiescent current does. You put about, say, 0.7 volts, just enough to keep the base emitter junction going, and then boom, the distortion goes away.
I notice also there's something tie wrapped to these transistors here.
Yeah, that's for thermal purposes, as you probably figured out. And these driver transistors are, and I'm just trying to remember, I think these are 2N3904, but they're small signals, so you could basically use anything, any small signal transistor. It really doesn't matter. And for the most part, these driver transistors are not critical. You could use anything in the same general scope as these BD139s and 140s. But yeah, you want to make sure, you know, as the transistors heat up, that quiescent current is going to change slightly. And so to prevent thermal runaway, you want to make sure that your driver transistors follow that increase in temperature in the voltage amplification stage, so that stays the correct amount of quiescent current and prevents thermal runaway. So
both the driver and the final there are push-pull stages?
Yes.
Now, is that
in this
common?
amp. Yeah, it is. It is really, I guess, quite common. But there are plenty of other amplifier designs that are just NPN or just Class A in the voltage amplification stage. You know, most amplifiers, most modern amplifiers these days, audio amps, they have 3 stages. There's the input stage, and that's what's hybrid about this one, because it uses an op amp, not discrete transistors. And then they have the voltage amplification stage. This is where you ramp up your voltage. And then your final or end amplifier stage is where you really boost up your current. So voltage, then current.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have some pictures you're going to show too.
Yeah, I've got a few pictures here. What is, well, this is early in the construction stage.
Yeah, this is actually a different amplifier. This is a 100 watt amplifier that we're looking at here, beginning. And you can see, really this is a good shot for the building technique. You see some PVC cement back there on the back part of that board. You take that and you coat your wood. Just completely soak it all sides with PVC cement, and that provides electrical isolation and seals the wood against moisture. So this is a time-honored ham radio construction technique. They used to use shellac, and you still can, or you can just use PVC cement. It does the same thing, and it's kind of a little bit easier, a little bit quicker. But yeah, this is just the beginning stages, and you can see here construction is proceeding on into the voltage amplification stage, and then you get to the point where you're hooking up the finals and the end stage, and then you go to testing, and you want to turn up your voltage pretty slow. Here, this is a tracking power supply that has both, well, it's two channels, so a negative voltage and a positive voltage. And boy, I tell you, I used to try to do this without one of these types of power supplies, and man, just having one of these power supplies that produces both a negative and a positive voltage is so nice. Yeah. But yeah, you want to watch your current, and then look at your output on the scope. That's what we're doing here. That's the input signal and how much it's being amplified. And if that's not enough for you, you know, feel around on your circuit. Touch some transistors. You know, that's one great thing about our hobby is, yeah, a lot of people don't want to put their hands on things these days because but if you're doing DIY, touching things is a great way to troubleshoot. Now, you do have to be a little bit careful. You want to keep a bottle of this standing by.
So you may need that, huh?
Yeah, aloe.
It looks like that's been used a lot.
So this,
it actually has.
This is not for treating the wood. This is for treating the flesh.
That's right. Yeah, this is for troubleshooting techniques. You know, they're great, and you just have to have a little supplement every now and then. So definitely keep a copy of that. I mean, a bottle of that, and then what you wind up with, you see here, is a couple pieces of wood and your heat sinks, and it's all ready to go in a case. This is a 100 watt amp, I think I mentioned, and that's the left and right channels we're looking at right there. So now it's ready to go, but you do have to have a little more than this. After you get that done, you're ready to build your power supply.
So you don't want to use your laboratory power supply for your stereo
Exactly,
system.
yeah, you can't use your bench supply. So you got to build, and actually my bench supply is not big enough for 100 watt. It only produces about 3 1/3 amps. So yeah, those 100 watt guys, they need a little bit more than that. So I was scrounging around for a transformer, and I said, yeah, how much do they cost? And I went out and looked up these, and to get, I needed a like 50 volt, 51, 52 volt, 25 volt center tap. And those guys were running like about $100. And I said, hey man, I built this 100 watt amp out of my junk box. I'm not going to spend $100 on a transformer. So I got this one out of an old microwave, and just took a chisel and sharpened it up, and a hammer, and cut off the primary. Next shot, you might be able to see this.
That's cut off the secondary.
Secondary, I should have said, yeah. And I think we got another shot of it after this. You can see this is the secondary that I wound back on in the place where I'd cut off the other secondary, which was a lot of tiny wires, because you know, in a microwave transformer. That's super high voltage from secondary. But when I wound it back, I used speaker wire, like 26 gauge, you know, paired. It's not twisted pair, it's just paired wire for, like, you know, speaker wire.
Sort
audio.
of like lamp or zip cord, similar.
Exactly. And if you wind that on, you've got 2 coils of wire. So all you got to do to make your center tap is connect the end of one of those wires to the beginning of the other, and that makes your center tap. So it really worked out well. And good rule of thumb to remember, 1 rep equal 1 volt. Pretty close, not exactly. So it turned out I think I had to put 26 wraps on that transformer, but came out perfect. Works great. Oh, and then you dip the whole thing in shellac. Or, well, you're really supposed to dip it in something special.
Shellac works.
Yeah, but shellac works.
And that is, there's a reason for that. What's that reason?
Well, you want to, for a couple things, moisture, that's really, maybe one of the really big ones. Yeah, you want to just protect it against moisture. But it also does keep it kind of glued in place.
So that your windings don't buzz.
Right. Yeah. That's a very large part of it, is so that, the hum.
Yep.
Mechanically.
Yeah, mechanical hum. That's right.
Jim,
George, can you show that? Can you show that that circuit again on the board on your table there?
Oh yeah.
Did I hear the mention of the cable tie? Is that at the lower part of that?
Yeah, that's actually a cable tie. Let's see if we can see it. You can see this one a little bit.
I'm going to have to check with VE3MIC, but I think, does this look right to you, George, on my camera?
Well,
is it backwards or it's back? Okay, here, let me turn it around. How's that?
That's it.
Yeah.
Certified cable tie.
I think we might have to pass this torch with the approval of VE3MIC.
Yeah.
So I thought you were going to say you went over budget with those cable ties, but no, that's not what you're saying.
No, I'm saying Jimmy is the official certified cable tie of the show now. I tell
you, Emile is a man after my own heart, buddy. I'm cheap. I am cheap. I go as cheap as it. You see this wire that hooks these power output transistors to the board? If I could lean this over a little bit, you might recognize this. This is power cable. I mean, not power cable. How would you say it?
Well, yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah. It's a power.
For power, computer power supply.
Yeah, it's an AC power cable that's cut up into pieces and used for the wire.
Well, you use what you got, man. It's not always that you want to be cheap. It's I need it right now.
I need it right now. It's the right gauge wire.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting there doing nothing and not ever going to be used for anything else.
Yep.
And I have this box of 1,000 wires that my wife keeps yelling at me about. So
That's
use
right.
it.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now, what is this?
Yeah, well, moving on, the next thing after your power supply is all squared away, you want to test. And really, this is what I've been working on most recently. I don't have one of the fancy oscilloscopes like George and Tommy here have because I'm cheap, Emile. And so I'm trying to do testing of the amplifier with my sound card and my computer. And of course, you can't run 100 watts into your sound card. They don't like that for some reason. You can only put in 1 volt peak to peak. So you got to have something to divide that down and buffer the signal. And after doing a little reading and research on the internet, this is what I came up with. So this is a sound card interface that you can use for testing your power audio amplifier. I think we got another shot that you can maybe better see the circuit. And it's just a voltage divider at heart on a 2-pole 6-position switch. And so the way I constructed mine, it's about 760 ohms worth of series resistance, and then that's divided down by a set of resistors coming off of the switchable switch there. So you can plug your amplifier in And it's followed by an op amp and a rail splitter for power, which runs a 9-volt battery onto both positive and negative rail. And yeah, it works great. It really works a treat. And I think we got another shot to give you a little idea of what I see when I look at it on my computer. And this is, I'm running a 1 kilohertz test tone into the computer, and there, way over to the right, you'll see a 0.5% harmonic that I've injected. This is a test for total harmonic distortion. And so I inject a 4.5 kilohertz harmonic at a 0.5% level, so I can judge the output of the amplifier relative to that. And as you can see, there's a second harmonic there at about 2 kilohertz, but it's way down compared to the 0.5%. Yeah. So that's good. It's too much phase noise on that fundamental, but a lot of that has to do with my original test signal. I'm working on that though.
Well, Jim, man, that is heavy duty.
Yeah, so I learned how to make a 1 transistor amplifier, which is what I started out to do.
But I count a few more than one on there.
Yeah, it did lead down a rabbit hole for sure.
So, which was the first? The one you've got right here or the 100-watt version?
I actually built the 100-watt first, and I'm still tinkering with it. You know, it's built, but I still enjoy experimenting. And then I built this other little one that we've got on the table. It's just a little 15-watter. And primarily the reason for that is voltage. Op amps, you know, cannot... There's not really many that can go above 18, 20 volts, plus or minus, you know. Total 36 volts, but 18 plus, 18 minus on your positive and negative rails, or 20. Some will do 20. I think 22 might be the limit. And so, you know, there's just only so much you can, only so much current you can push to those final transistors with that much voltage.
Why the brass nails?
Well, they just solder more easily. They just accept solder more easily. You could use steel nails, and that would work, but yeah. Oh, yeah, the construction technique I was going to mention, you know, hams, that is an original breadboard right there. That, I mean, wood,
yeah.
You know, that's where the name hams named that. Because back in the early days of wireless, you know, which is what they were calling it at the time, what would that have been, the 20s, George?
Well, might actually have been before that.
The teens,
yeah,
maybe?
Shortly after the turn of the century.
Okay. They couldn't buy it. If they wanted something in the wireless world, they had to build it. And what did they build it on? Well, they would cut bread on the breadboards. It was a cutting board. We call them cutting boards today. But yeah, and so they drove brass nails in, shellacked them, and soldered to them.
Wow!
So time honored.
And this looks a lot like maybe dead bug style.
Yeah. I was trying to think. It's not Manhattan. It's not exactly dead bug.
No, it's not. It's sort of in between.
Yeah. It's just what I came up with. Well, I really can't even take credit for that because I watched this other guy on the internet. And his name is Co Tillman, or Radio Fun 232. If you look at his channel, you'll see a lot of this type of construction technique. And so he and I have kind of communicated back and forth, and he gives me tips. He's one of my Elmers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the Netherlands.
Are you still on the amplifiers, or are you about to move on to CD players or something?
I am really
make a comeback.
Yeah, I'm really getting into testing and test equipment, and that's kind of where I am right now. But I think the next big thing just might be SDR.
That's fun stuff. It's a good topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably won't be able to build that with transistors. You're going to have to become a little more modern.
I don't know.
Oh,
you might be surprised.
Okay.
Maybe some few brass nails might go a long ways in there, though.
Yeah. You take a Coca-Cola can, Emile, you'll love this. You take a Coca-Cola can or beer can, and I told you you'd love it, Emile. And and you cut it. You cut it down the sides, flatten it out. Of course, you cut the top off and the bottom off, and you use brass nails on the bottom of this, Tommy, to put that on, and that's your ground plane.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Looks like you've been busy.
Been having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's really a lot of fun.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nothing like getting in and just experiment and see,
Yeah,
kind of seeing what comes up.
Well, we're going to be back in just a moment because we got more to go tonight. But first, a message from MFJ. Isn't it about time someone developed an inexpensive multiband antenna you could deploy in just minutes? Well, someone has. Meet the Octopus. MFJ's new 4-band Octopus antenna is the perfect way to get you swimming in the HF ocean immediately. The Octopus mounting base is constructed of heavy-duty stainless steel and super strong fiberglass-filled ABS insulator tube. The built-in ballon comes with an attached SO239 connector pigtail ready for you to attach coax. Choose a pair of ham sticks for each of your 4 favorite bands, screw them into the 8 chrome-plated 3H 24-threaded mounts, and you're able to get on the air in just minutes. The MFJ Octopus will mount on most any metal pole or telescopic mast up to 1 inch in diameter. Just tighten the thumb screw. You can rotate the antenna with a small TV rotor like the high-gain ARI 500 or just ground mount the antenna for omnidirectional use. With its 8 super lightweight arms, the MFJ Octopus is ready to reach out and grab the big DX on your favorite bands. At only 14 feet in diameter, it's great for emergency, stealth, portable, campground, or as a permanent base antenna. And the ham sticks break down to around 4 feet for easy, compact storage. If you're on the lookout for a compact, quickly deployable multiband HF antenna, keep an eye out for the new MFJ Octopus. MFJ, the world leaders in ham radio accessories at mfjenterprises.com.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
What a
That's
neat...
pretty amazing. I'm surprised somebody hadn't come up with that before.
Yeah.
Leave it to MFJ, man.
Innovation.
As a matter of fact, in that ad there, I had to use photos of it because they were sold out.
I bet.
People had just recognized it and say, wow,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
It really is. Simple.
That'd be a really fun thing to test out at field day.
It would be.
Yeah.
And we might be doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy. So easy to put up. I'll do that one.
Simple.
Okay.
I'll raise that antenna.
Simple is elegant, isn't it?
There. No kidding, man. Especially.
Yeah, I have some of those the sticks already, so
Yeah.
just need
Yeah.
the piece in the middle.
So many people already do have some of those.
I'll do the octopus while you do the hex beam.
Yeah. the hex. No. That was kind of, one person can't do that.
No. Three
Bit
people
more
could
to
barely
it,
do
yeah.
it.
Yep.
That was first time though. Next time it'll be easier.
First time's always the hardest.
Well, my topic tonight, I'm actually working on a project in the future, and this is just a tiny little piece of it. I needed an audio tone. Well, this will explain it here. Now, it's going to look kind of like maybe it ties into Jim's a little bit, but
That's a happy coincidence.
it's just a coincidence. And, well, let's just take a look here, and maybe when we're finished, you'll have learned a little more about the perils of harmonic distortion. You know, much of the time that you're using tones to take measurements, you're using a sine wave. That's the most purest waveform, and it's generally what we use. Now, this is a little Tenma audio generator that I've got. We're looking at 1.5 kilohertz on it using the sound card oscilloscope program. You can see the triggers dancing around just slightly there on the display, and the tips of the waveform there, they are crawling a little bit. I think that's just an anomaly of the sound card and the software here. This is a pretty clean sine wave that we're seeing. Now, it looks good here. It's good and symmetrical, round on the edges there. If we expand it out a little bit and zoom in somewhere we can see better. There's another way we can look at this, and that's in the frequency domain. You know, with an oscilloscope, we're looking in the time domain. Let's look at this like we were looking with a spectrum analyzer. In the frequency domain here, we can see our fundamental frequency right here, 1.5 kilohertz. Over on the left-hand side, we've got the scale here set to dB. At the very top, 0 dB. At the very bottom, minus 100 dB. Now, I'm using a pretty good sound card here, so it probably has pretty close to this range. Across the bottom here, we see it's divided 1 kilohertz, 2, 3, 4. Goes on out to 20 kilohertz there. Our waveform, normally you'd set your reference level here to be right at 0. Well, I can't get it any higher with this sound card into this software than where it is right now. So I've got my reference level set at minus 5 dB. That means any measurement that I want to take, I'll have to subtract minus 5 off the top of it just to make off for the offset there. So here's our 1.5 kilohertz right at minus 5. If we look at the second harmonic, right down here at 3 kilohertz, you can see that's coming up to minus 85 there. Taking our minus 5 above, we'll say that this is 80 dB down because we subtract minus 5 from 85. If we look on out here at the third harmonic, we can see it picking its head up right there. It's hitting about minus 95 there on peaks. So we would say that this is minus 90 dB down. And then we don't see any other harmonics appearing here at all. If we look down here at total harmonic distortion, 0.01%. That's very good readings for total harmonic distortion. Earlier audio equipment won't have quite that good distortion right there. As a matter of fact, most humans below 0.1, they really won't hear it. But we've got a decent oscillator here. I didn't really realize it was this good because I haven't really measured it in a long time, and I'd forgotten what it was. So that's what a good pure sine wave would look like on both an oscilloscope and on a spectrum analyzer. For a lot of projects, I like to use a little Arduino. It's very convenient. A little microcontroller you can do a lot of stuff with, and you can actually generate a tone with that. And if I'm using it for a project anyway, why wouldn't I use it to generate a tone? Let's look at a tone coming out of the Arduino. It's a lot higher signal level, so I had to turn it down on the input of the sound card. But you can see this is not a sine wave. It's not rounded off at the ends. It's kind of flat and jagged here. I believe this jagged edges that we're seeing here is just an artifact of using the sound card oscilloscope software and the sound card itself. If I look at this on my regular oscilloscope, it's a little more square here on the edges. Nevertheless, that's pretty nasty looking. We really don't like to use a square wave, particularly when we're generating audio tones. It just sounds really bad, and there's a lot of harmonics to it. How high are the harmonics on it? Well, let's look at it in the frequency domain. Wow. That's not the same at all, is it? We've got our reference set here to minus 5. That's the fundamental right there at 1500 hertz. We don't see a second harmonic here at 3000 hertz. Although our noise floor is a little higher, you can see it dancing around here. Part of that is also, as I said, the measurement set up here. I don't see that dancing around on a regular scope. There is a real high third harmonic, though. You remember that was down around minus 90 dB on the good sine wave generator there. Wow, this is probably only down, well, like minus 10 dB. That's a real high harmonic. If we look out here at 6000 hertz, we don't really see a harmonic there either. That would be the fourth harmonic. Look at the fifth harmonic here, 7.5 kilohertz. that is still way up there. This is, what, minus 15 dB. Let's just jump on out here to the end. Out here at 16.5 kilohertz, this is the 11th harmonic. It's only down like minus 27.5 dB. A lot of distortion in this, a lot of harmonics. Total harmonic distortion, wow, 43%. That's a lot higher than 0.01. Now we can filter this using some RC components. We can construct a filter here using 4 1K ohm resistors and 4 0.1 microfarad capacitors, and we'll try to smooth it off and see if we can get it looking a little bit better. Now when we do that, we get a lot of attenuation of the signal. That would be typical. The edges there, they're rounded off. This actually looks like a sine wave now. It's still coming out of the same Arduino. It's the same source code running there. Very simple code, by the way. Let's look at it in the frequency domain and see what it looks like. Well, on the spectrum analyzer, there's still some harmonics in there. Let's get our reference level set right at -5. Now we can see there is actually a little second harmonic down there because our noise floor has come way down through this filtering. It's not super high there, probably minus 70 dB on peaks of it. We've still got a fair amount of third harmonic out there, minus 30 dB or so. We can see there is some fourth harmonic there. There's a fifth. It's still a little high. The 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th harmonic. Out here at the 11th harmonic, that is minus 70 dB, so that's down quite a bit there. Certainly a lot better than it was without the filtering. Our total harmonic distortion using this filter puts us at about 2.89%. Although it's still kind of high distortion, this signal is good enough to be used for some audio applications like making a tone IDer or a CW tone, which is kind of my next project that I'm working on here. So I wanted a little bit cleaner signal. I didn't want to send all those harmonics out over a project that I had on the air. We lost a lot of signal level by doing this. However, that doesn't really matter. In this case, I've got plenty of gain in the circuit that I'm going to be using it in. And it makes it, actually a somewhat decent signal there. 2.89% distortion. I can live with that in this particular application. So there you go. Using an Arduino to generate an audio tone and applying filtering to make it actually usable for something.
That's a great segment.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, it just kind of, I didn't set out to do a segment on harmonic distortion, but in my process of trying to make that tone into something I could use,
it just happened to take you down that particular rabbit hole.
Yep. So I'll have to get back on that project and finish it up because it's nothing at all like like what we just saw. This was just solving an issue in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Well, hey, man, I am just like dying with anticipation.
On who's going to win?
Yeah.
Well, we are about to find out. Tell you what, if y'all will give us just a minute or two here to get things ready, we're going to give away this radio package. We're going to tell you all about it. But
Tommy's got to crank the handle on the spinner
on the
rounder.
balls.
So you can draw, yeah.
Yeah, on the Hamfest.
So you can pull the little tickets out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hope all y'all came by here and put your tickets in the little barrel.
Yeah.
I know I put mine in there.
Every time.
There's only one ticket in there floating
That's
around.
right.
And you don't have to be present to win.
That's great.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I love those drawings.
Yeah. All right, we'll be right back.
At the end of each month, it's AmateurLogic's Ham College, the new show for those new to the hobby and those wanting to get into amateur radio.
Which of the following is a purpose of the amateur radio service as stated in the FCC rules and regulations?
That inductor and capacitor form a tuned circuit. That's how you tune the radio to the frequency that you want. the English language.
We lived in town. I liked it. I listened to mine a lot. It was really cool because you didn't have to have a battery to power it.
There's our homemade telegraph station. We can use it for long distance communications, like, 3 feet here?
Across the table. The answer is B. Voltage was named after Italian physicist Alessandro Volta.
We can see we're generating a little bit of electricity there. It's DC.
It's always great to go back and get a refresher.
It sure is.
A lot of that stuff, if you've been a ham for a while like we have, you don't really think about a lot of that stuff that often.
They didn't have electric screwdrivers in those days, so that's why we're not using one.
That's why we went primitive with it.
Yeah. So let's see if we can hear anything when we fire off our spark gap transmitter.
Oh yeah.
Well, we didn't build anything or blow up anything today, but
the night's still young.
Good old spark gap.
Good old it's sitting right up there. We use that coil of wire and nail for a lot of different projects there in the beginning.
Yeah, the weather's still a little bit too warm to bring that thing out.
Yeah,
It generates too much heat.
If Jim would have brought his finger treatment there, though, we might could have.
Hey, we could have worked something out.
Yeah, because with that 12-volt, 7.5 ampere hour battery, man, that key would get hot.
I bet it would. Pulling some current through that thing.
Well, 13 years of Amateur Logic. We haven't been saying 13 enough. The crowd seems to still be
they're all
sober.
still awake.
Yeah.
Woohoo, 13. I have to take another drink.
Oh, there you go.
13.
I'll drink to that.
He said 13.
A fine.
Oh, wait, I just said it again.
Oh. Well, we've got some great sponsors and friends here on the show that have come together and given us some prizes to give out to some lucky viewer there.
Really lucky.
Some really lucky
Really
viewer.
lucky.
Yep.
The first item we've got here is the ICOM IC7300, probably the most popular, and they call it entry level. You wouldn't think of that as an entry level rig with all the features it's got on it.
I know it doesn't look like the rig I got started with.
No, me neither.
Yeah, me either.
It's got RF direct sampling. It's a software-defined radio. What that means is RF signals are directly converted to digital data. And then they're processed by FPGAs, making it possible to simplify the circuit construction as well as reduce noise that can mask weaker signals. So this thing gets down in the mud pretty good.
Yeah. I bet it does.
It's got great DSP noise reduction built in as well. ICOM, I've always thought, had some of the best DSP noise reduction around.
Absolutely.
After having rigs by a couple of the other brands, I didn't have their top-of-the-line rigs.
Yeah.
But there is a difference in the DSP.
Yep.
And the DSP sounds similar on almost all the ICOM rigs that I've ever tried.
Yep.
RMDR and phase noise characteristics. That RMDR is reciprocal mixing dynamic range. The IC7300's RMDR is about 97 dB. It's got superior phase noise characteristics to reduce noise components for both receive and transmit signals. And it's got 16 discrete bandpass filters in it. So that means in the front end of the signal path, these are real actual filters. They're not doing all the filtering in software. They've got actual hardware filters.
Yes.
Real filters that are being engaged as needed there.
And you need that.
Yeah, you do. Makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, a real-time spectrum scope, built-in antenna tuner, 101 memory channels. It's got SD memory card slot built in it, so you can save data with it. Multifunction meter, CW functions are full break-in, CW reverse, CW auto tuning, and of course it does single sideband CW RIDI, AM and FM modes at a great price.
Yeah.
Unbelievable price.
Yep.
Well, price so good that Jim is going to rush out and buy one after the show tonight.
I tell you, really and truly, I came over here, and when I saw George demo the front, George gave me a little demo, and he touched the touch screen to change bands. And buddy, I mean, it's just, the performance of the touch screen is like, it's just like your phone.
I could see his eyes go cha-ching.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to need a power supply for that, aren't you, Tommy?
You are going to need one. So compliments of MFJ, we've got the MFJ 4230 MVP power supply, super compact 30 amp mighty light switching power supply with digital voltmeter and ammeter, 5-way binding posts. It's got a pair of Anderson power poles, 25 amp continuous and 30 amp surge at 13.8 volts of DC, and it's adjustable from 4 to 16 volts. You can choose 120 or 240 volts at 47 to 63 hertz. So you can take it anywhere in the U.S. or abroad.
Yeah.
That's almost a tongue twister there at the end of it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you're going to need an antenna to go with that too, aren't you, Jim?
How about this MFJ 2286 portable big stick HF antenna? Look at the coil on that thing. Covers
Yes.
7 to 55 megahertz, 1 kW of power handling capability, 17-foot telescopic whip. That means you can reach out there and touch all the way up to 40 meters. Adjustable high Q air wound coil, and it includes the MFJ 342T pipe mount and counterpoise kit.
So a great portable antenna especially. Man, you could take this and throw it up and be on the air and nothing
Very
flat.
quick.
And we've seen
Yeah.
Vince do that right here in the yard,
Oh, yeah.
and it worked really well.
Of course, you're going to need to hook up that antenna to the radio, so we've got 50 foot of MFJ American-made RG8X cable right here. Comes with the coax connectors already installed.
But if you didn't have those coax connectors, or you had some other coax you preferred to use, what are these, George?
These are genuine AmateurLogic commemorative faux gold PL259s. We don't recommend you put solder to them.
Yeah. I'm not sure they'll hold up to RF.
Yeah. But this
I've got to get me some of those.
This is my last pair here, Jim.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if we'll be giving any of these away again.
Oh,
or
I
not.
see.
I've got a couple I snuck
you?
home and I stashed them just for emergency sake.
Okay. But we've given away a lot of gold PL259s in the last few years.
If you don't have a gold PL259, I mean, where you been?
Yeah, if you do have one, you should use it like we are here for display purposes.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you shouldn't waste it on trying to conduct signals, because we don't know that that'll work.
Oh.
You're going to need, well, actually the rig comes with a microphone, but we're going to kick it up a notch here. We've got the Heil ICM microphone. It's a high-performance mic designed especially for owners of earlier ICOM rigs who needed a microphone that had a little more gain to it. It's got a custom electrete element in it
Yes.
with good broad frequency response from 35 to 12 kilohertz. Built-in push-to-talk button on it. Comes with the mic holder, and it's got the connector on the end to fit ICOM rigs. So Heil ICM microphone, great
Condenser mic.
condenser mic, a bass mic to go with your earlier ICOM rigs and modern ICOM rigs as well.
Very nice looking microphone.
But
and
you-
sounding.
But you might not always want to use a mic like this, Tommy.
Yeah, sometimes you may want to use a headset like this.
Hands free.
Yeah, hands-free. And I actually am going to be buying one of these of my own. This is a Heil BM17 lightweight emergency communications headset. It comes with either a BM17 dynamic element or a BM17 IC electrode element. Speakers used in the BM17 are very sensitive, don't require much AF drive from the transceiver. The frequency response is 200 Hz to 5 kHz with very low distortion. The ear pads are replaceable acoustic foam, BM17 is a lightweight headset designed for emergency communications and is available as either a single side or dual side model. I think I'm going to order the dual side myself.
Yeah.
And I've actually had those headphones on the air with my ICOM rig there. Got good reports from everyone on my audio, and they sound great and they're comfortable too. So
Comfort, man, that's important.
I think I'm going to have to get a set of those before the next field day or emergency crops up.
Well, George, I was just thinking, can we give them a Gordon West General or Extra Class Amateur Radio license package?
Yes, it could be they're just a technician. They may not be a general or an extra, and they're not going to be able to use that radio in that case.
Or not all of it, anyway.
Yeah, but we'll give them the choice of
Gordon West.
general. Yep.
WB6NOA.
Choice of general or amateur radio extra study guide. You know, Gordo, this is like the Bible for getting your license.
Man. It is.
It is.
Gordo's been writing the Bible for years and years.
He has, and it's
and not only for this, but also for CW. And that's why every time I can't talk about Gordo without thinking about CW.
oh, you use this CW study course?
Okay.
Wow. Definitely, if you're studying for your exam, go with one of Gordo's books. I mean, we use it as a reference all the time on Ham College.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
good stuff.
So, great resource. Well,
Getting about that time, isn't it?
yeah, we've already, we've closed the entries on the 11th. Was the last day you could register. And we had a lot of good people register for that. You had to be a U.S. or Canadian ham radio operator, and you could only enter once. If there are any taxes on this, the winner's going to have to pay whatever the tax is. We don't know that any
I've
winner's
never heard
ever
of
paid
that
of any.
happening, but just in case.
Yeah.
I think I could handle that.
Yep. The winner can't be an affiliate of AmateurLogic, ICOM, MFJ, Heil Sound, or Gordon West. Gordo can't win it either.
Ooh.
Oh.
So what we're going to do is draw a random number right here on the show. And actually, we did this right before we started taping tonight. You were sitting here as a witness.
I saw the random number being drawn.
And you saw us taking that number and matching it to an entry. And we have that entry right here. We don't know the winner. We never have known the winner on any of the grand prize contests yet. But I suspect this winner is going to be happy to hear from us.
Guaranteed.
I suspect they will be too.
Guaranteed.
And the winner of the AmateurLogic 13th anniversary
There you go, Emile.
All right, I got it.
of the AmateurLogic anniversary prize package here is,
Drum roll.
drum roll please, K4EMT,
K4EMT.
Echo Mike Tango, Sarah Clark
Oh, congratulations, Sarah.
from,
Congratulations,
Awesome.
Sarah.
from Florida,
From Florida. Does it say what part?
Lakeland.
Okay. Where is that?
That's
Somewhere
down in
down
the
south.
Is that in the Panhandle?
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
little below.
Down south of here.
Yeah.
It's down south of here?
So congratulations, Sarah.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Lucky, lucky, lucky.
Yep, you're going to be very happy with your.
I'm sure she's very happy right now, are he?
And I hadn't looked to see if
Are
she
they
is
in the chat room?
I don't
I don't-
think so.
I don't see her.
Okay.
So we'll be getting in touch with Sarah here and giving her the good news.
I'm sure somebody probably is right now.
And we'll be getting all this packaged up and ready to ship out as soon as the crying's over here. And
It's all
Yeah,
over now
if
but the
this
cry.
isn't in the box, don't think anything about that.
no, it's going to be in the box. Wow.
Oh,
Well,
there you go.
thanks ICOM, MFJ, Heil Sound and Gordon West Radio Skills, W5YI, and Master Publishing.
Yeah.
For making all this possible. You know, if it was up to me and Tommy, we'd probably be giving away that spark gap that we saw a while ago.
No kidding.
The most we could come up with, but thanks to these.
Y'all don't make a lot of money doing this show.
No. No.
They've been great sponsors, all of them. It's really appreciate those guys stepping up. Every year they always step up and,
they sure
and donate
do.
some great prizes for someone.
These are really great.
Oh yeah, it's
really great.
It's a whole setup. It's everything you need.
Everything you need. That's great, man. Way to go.
Way to go, Sarah. Congratulations again, K4EMT.
Gonna be very happy.
I wonder if she is an EMT.
I don't know. Could be.
What about this other?
Yeah, you saying maybe we should have some consolation prizes?
I think it'd be a nice thing to do.
Aha!
That sounds like
I didn't know there were going to be consolation
but wait,
prizes.
There's more.
There's one more thing.
Well,
how about one of these Runco Fishermatics?
Yeah.
Bass-o-matic?
What was it? Is it Cast-o-matic? Remember the little fold-up fishing rod?
Yeah.
Oh, Cast-o-matic.
Cast-o-matic.
Yeah, the Bass-o-matic, that was a food processor.
Bass-o-matic. Oh.
Okay, I'm back in here and looking at our contest entries.
Okay.
What do we got to give away, Tommy? Well, let's see. I've got...
Is this reaching back into the Amateur Logic?
Yes. This is the stash that has just been more or less collected or...
Piling up.
I won't say piling up because we didn't have
What's good
a
stuff?
whole lot this year. Yeah, it's some good things.
Oh, look at this.
But maybe they're not, maybe we don't have a lot of options in here. Like,
I got you.
say, we've got a nice Heil Sound t-shirt. Very nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've got a Heil Sound hat to go with it. But it needs to be for someone who's medium sized, because that's the only size we got.
Oh,
A Heil Sound medium t-shirt and a small/medium hat. Of course, the hat's one size fits all if you're medium or small.
if you're medium or small.
Yeah. So if you win it and it doesn't fit, just pay it forward and pass it on to another ham that'll fit.
There you go. All right,
that Heil
Tommy,
t-shirt.
will you write these down as we go so
I will.
we know who wins?
So we're going to give that away?
We're going to give that away,
Okay.
and I'm just going to kind of randomly scroll through the database of entries here.
And close your eyes and click on somebody?
Yep, I'm going to open up an entry there, and it is Jack Downs KG5 GFS from Gonzales, Texas.
He's in the chat room.
He is.
Okay.
All right. Congratulations, Jack. We're sorry you didn't win the radio. And we hope you're medium sized.
Oh, because
Awesome.
you did
Congrats.
win the Heil. I would like to have one of those Heil t-shirts. Bob. Oh.
All right.
DFS, right?
So what else have we got there, Tommy?
Well, we have a nice DSO 138 oscilloscope kit.
Oh.
Now that's
cherry.
kit you built, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a really great one. Complements JYE Electronics.
That's useful, man.
Yeah, it's very nice. I've got one at the house, and I did a segment on it. It's a great little kit.
I saw that segment.
Pretty easy to put together, and the scope works very well.
Yep. And comes with the probe and the display as well.
Yeah,
That's
it sure
fun
does.
right there.
Everything you need, except the case, and you can
just a little
make the
package
case
of
easy.
fun
You don't
right
even
there.
have to have a case.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, package of fun, no doubt.
Yeah.
It was a blast putting together.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's see who we got here. Random winner is Marty Cody, N0 NKC.
November 0, November Kilo Charlie.
Yep. Well, congratulations, Marty.
Marty Cody. That sounds like a CW guy to me.
Huh. Could be.
Yeah, Cody.
Could be. He's an extra class.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, our other grand prize winner, Sarah, there is an extra class.
Okay. So.
Hey, George. Mike's asking about the slightly used 7700 on the other side of the room.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be giving that away this week.
Okay, all right.
We'll have to, Jimmy and I'll do that when George goes in the house.
Right. Yeah. But I found something.
Oh, what have you got there?
You might want to give this away.
Here, move it over this way a little bit and do that again.
Oh,
Or
out from behind Emile.
There you go.
There we go. Can you
So
zoom
what
in
is-
on that?
What do the cards actually look like
Let's see.
themselves?
Yeah,
Are
we
they
can-
in English or?
Since we have the up close shot, we can take these out and have a look. See. Oh, nice!
Looks like
Yeah,
a nice set of cards.
yeah. There's the Joker. There's Emile.
Oh, the Joker's got a handy talkie.
Look at that! Oh,
And so does the Queen.
Oh, that's too
How
cool.
awesome is that?
Ah, look at there. There's your ace.
I'm going to have to hit Ray up for a set of those. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty nice.
The best.
This
Look at
was
there.
actually my set. I hate to get rid of them now, but yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. That is super cool. Simply the best.
Wow.
That's true.
All right. Well, let's see who's going to win these. The winner of the ICOM deck of playing cards is William Becker, K1NE, November Echo,
K1 November Echo in
Kinderhook, New York.
Hey.
Yeah, have you got anything else over there, Tommy, or was
Wow.
that it?
Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it on.
Got ICOM. Here, you going to do the. Oh,
Whoops.
No, we don't even know what to call that.
it's a backpack. It's ICOM.
Oh,
It's kind of a lightweight backpack. You can take it to the Hamfest, put your gear in it or whatever. It's that string type. Put your
Oh,
arms
and hang it
through
on
right
your
there.
back.
And you'll just be super in style because it says ICOM on it.
For the love of ham radio,
Yeah.
Hamvention
Turn that around there,
2018.
you can get the shot.
Yeah, this was part of, the prize packages that ICOM was giving away to some lucky winners at Hamvention this year.
There you go.
It is Tom Cutter, W6BS, Bravo Sierra.
W6BS.
Tom Cutter in Carmichael,
And that's
California. Yeah.
that's no joke. You thought I was going to say something else, didn't you? I mean,
I don't know if that's a vanity call or not. It could be.
yeah. And where was that? Carmichael,
California.
Congratulations, Tom.
Yeah.
We kind of span the whole U.S.
We
from
did.
New York to California to Florida.
Florida. That's the majority of it.
Yeah,
Well,
super.
Well, awesome.
I don't have anything else to give away over here. You got any money, Tommy?
No. You got a roll of rope over here.
No, that's my rope.
It's a nice rope too.
Yeah, that's that Masterant guy rope right there.
Yeah, this would be a
That is not cheap old man compliant there.
Oh.
Well,
All right, as they say.
it's been a fun show,
It has.
and glad you could be with us tonight, Jim.
It was my pleasure to come back and do the 13th anniversary show. I really enjoyed it.
Lucky 13.
Lucky 13.
Well, you're going to have to drive a few nails and come back and see us again.
I'll do it. I'll drive a few more nails, and maybe I'll have something RF related on the breadboard when I come back.
Cool.
Well,
Excellent choice of the day as well for the live show, George.
okay.
I just caught on to that. Today's the 13th.
Aha!
Yeah, well, it
How
just kind
about
of
that?
happened because we were going to shoot it on the 12th, but you couldn't make it.
Yeah.
So,
So
Wow.
nice. So
Yep.
Emile, we owe you that.
And we're
Yeah.
out of the.
Thank your wife for
We're
it.
out of the bubbly,
Yes.
so we have to stop the show.
Oh,
We
Well.
just have to go get with Emile and finish drinking what he's drinking.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
better than the Welch's we had anyway.
Yeah. His is
Here's
clear.
here's to 13 more, right, guys?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Woo!
Yeah, get the last
Drain it.
Yep.
drop.
Bottoms
there.
up, as they say.
This was
Yep.
Cantina inspired though.
Cantana inspired.
Oh,
The
yeah.
original one
Absolutely.
Yep.
was definitely, we had to empty that can to build a Cantana.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the episode when y'all drove across that lake and y'all were testing stuff across
That was the next.
That came a little later, but yeah.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
tough.
That was the Cantana, I believe.
That was really a good episode too. I
Yeah, it
enjoyed
was.
that.
yeah,
man.
that was a good episode.
Using like Net Stumbler or something
Yep.
like
Yeah,
that, if I
yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
If you knew the setup we had to do to pull that off, that was kind of tough.
Yeah, it really was, with the gear we had anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
Now remember there was somebody's wedding in the background or something.
Yeah, that that was pretty early days Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
pretty early days.
Yeah, bleeding edge stuff. That's actually that was a very popular show.
Oh,
a lot
yeah,
of people
it
watched
was.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably more than watched any of the rest of them.
maybe.
There was for years and years. I don't know if it's still that way or not.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, we just want to thank everyone who has followed Amateur Logic over the years, and you folks that come in recently and discovered the show and going back and watching all the old ones.
Yep.
Y'all keep watching. We'll keep doing them. Tommy, any final words for the night?
No, I appreciate all you guys hanging with us for so long. It's been a short 13 years. It seems
Yeah.
like it's just been no time at all, and looking forward to doing plenty more.
Yep.
Jim?
I really have enjoyed being a part of the Amateur Logic family, and looking forward to the next 13 and all the super innovation and tech to come.
All right. Email.
Well, I'll just say thanks for letting me be a part of it, and thanks for everything y'all do. Y'all inspired me, and I've been going down the track ever since. So hope it is a 13 more.
Well,
Cool beans.
if we inspired Emile, we're good. We can quit
Emile
any time
inspires
now.
me,
We've,
yeah.
we've reached the target. No, Emile, thank you for joining us here and bringing us a little New Orleans flavor to the show.
And helping to keep expenses in order.
Yes,
That's right.
exactly.
What's the title? I forget what you CCO.
Cost compliance officer. Yes.
I'll keep it going.
Good.
All right. I just want to thank everyone for supporting the show all these years and the encouragement that you give us. It's always good
Yeah.
to hear from the viewers. And
But don't want to mention the sponsors as well.
Oh,
honestly,
yeah.
if it wasn't for the MFJ and ICOM, good chance we probably wouldn't be doing this today.
this is, well, I know we wouldn't be giving away a radio for
We
sure.
wouldn't be doing that. But
Maybe not even the show, huh?
I don't know. Everything's kind of getting kind of expensive, hosting and everything,
Yeah.
and so who knows?
Yep. It definitely made it possible to do some things that we
Otherwise,
certainly
might not
wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Definitely wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So thanks ICOM and MFJ and all the Amateur Logic viewers. And if you want to get in touch with us, well, you can just email us. You can go to the website, get the email addresses, but it's just our first names at AmateurLogic.TV. And if you want to join in our social media groups, we've got a way that you can do that. It's on Facebook, facebook.com/group/AmateurLogic.TV.
Yep.
Google Plus,
Yeah. What's left of it?
what's left of it.
Yeah.
Well put.
We got word this week that Google Plus communities are going to be going away.
For however
Google
much
Plus.
longer it lasts.
Yeah.
Yep,
I believe it is like 9 more months until they shut it down.
Okay.
yep. It's still there, but we're encouraging everyone to,
Move
check
over.
us out at Facebook or Twitter.
Twitter.
Yep. And of course, where would you follow us on Twitter, or who would you follow?
We've got 2 accounts there, at AmateurLogic and at Ham College.
Okay. And Jim, do you have any social things you want to plug?
Or antisocial, whatever.
Yeah, probably a few, but I better not say them out loud here. But no, just yeah. I don't even remember my Twitter handle.
Okay.
I think it's Jimmy D. Burrell.
So you probably tweet about as much as I do.
Yeah.
Then it sounds like.
I read a lot of tweets, but yeah, I don't tweet a lot.
Yep.
And we're also on Instagram, although it's mostly for when we go to Hamfest to post some things like that. So, but if you use Instagram, join us there. AmateurLogic is the account.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. 7-3, everyone. Thanks for a great 13 years, and we'll see you next month. Yeah, Peter's not with us tonight. He is, well, I'm not sure what he's doing because we haven't talked to him in a few weeks.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he's doing something. Maybe he's watching. Maybe not. But anyway, we'll see Peter. We will see Peter at some future date
A
here
later
again
date.
with us.